Every human tries to better their life in different ways. Some of the individuals move countries. One of the ways that individuals come to the UK is the skilled worker visa. There are different types of visas that individuals migrate to the UK on. However, skilled worker visa is one of the most used. I think more than 70 to 80% of the migrants who don't have any human rights basis like a spouse visa or partner visa basis, they migrate on this category of visa, the skilled worker visa. In April, on 4th of April 2024, this year, there were considerable changes brought about in the salary requirements for the skilled worker visa. And there was a transitional provision for about 3 months. The old rules did apply, etc. And now, I think it's already 4th of July passed. So now all the transitional provisions for those specific causes which were issued before 4th April have gone now because the 3 months grace period has passed. So now this is the right time for me to explain how to calculate the salaries for different types of skilled workers, what are the minimum salaries that can be paid, etc. And I have a long flow chart. Basically, I have created a whole explanation on the board. I'll take one route at a time. It is complicated to explain just in words, hence I have presented it over here. I know that there are many students also who are giving OIC, either immigration advisors exams or law society exams. They have approached on the channel for my explanations, etc. So this video will help you. You can use the whole diagram, make like a mind map or a learning map, and it will help you with your exams, etc. This video will remain in the free version of the YouTube channel. It won't go under the gold membership or the paid memberships, just for the students' benefit. Any others, even this video will benefit employers who want to sponsor migrants, HR individuals, HR people, owners of business, medium-sized corporates, whoever wants to watch this video. It will help you with understanding what are the minimums to be paid to workers before they decide to sponsor anyone or when they are sponsoring someone. Also, individuals who are applicants, they are helping the employer, they may also watch this video and it will help you. So to begin with, I will start with the basis. Skilled worker visa, salary calculations. This whole video will cover different aspects: new entrant category, salary calculations, minimums, someone who is already on a skilled worker visa who is moving on to either extending, changing job codes, changing employers, applying for ILR, someone who is fairly new. So this side is someone who is for the first time who's applying on the skilled worker visa but doesn't have any of those new entrant and other discounts. Also with the new entrant, I have PhD, STEM PhD, etc. Those calculations. Someone who is on the immigration salary list. Immigration salary list is the replacement of the shortage occupation list, that calculation. And for individuals who are applying on the healthcare occupations or education roles. So they have specific salary bands decided by the government, by the UK, whichever department deals with them. They decide, the UK government decides their salaries, the bands, whatever bands they work in. And so that is one area. So everything under skilled worker basically I'm going to cover in this video, and I may try to make parts of this video if there is more demand for specific videos on specific areas. To begin with, what is the basis? There are three numbers that you have to look at before calculating the salary, minimum salary to be paid. One is the base rate, second is the going rate, and third is the hourly rate. So I have named them as A, B, and C. I'll be using A, B, C again and again. So remember, A refers to the base rate, B, going rate, and C, hourly rate. Firstly, many individuals as of now who may be watching this video as of the date of making of this video, since April 24, we are just in August now. So most of the individuals would be already on skilled worker visas. All others deal with someone who is joining the skilled worker area for the first time. Only this area on skilled worker before 4th April, or your cost was issued before 4th April, doesn't matter. So that's the same thing where old rules apply, old salaries apply, etc., etc. I'll get away this one with, this is the most important one. I know many individuals, I think as of today, whichever individuals are interested in this video, almost 80% of them would be in this area who are already in the either in the tier 2 general visa or skilled worker visa, but they entered the rules under the old rules before the increase happened, before the cost changes happened. So the any courses that were issued on or after 4th of April, so from 5th of April, 4th April the system was down, I know. So from 5th of April onwards, whichever courses were issued, they come under everything else on this side, and any courses that were issued before on 3rd April or before 3rd April 2024 or before, everyone comes under this small area over here. So on skilled worker visa before 4th April, these occupations are listed in table 2 and 2A, and the salary base is based. So the current salaries that have increased is, this is the standard rate. I'll get into that first, and I will compare that against the old rule salary. So currently the base rate, in my case, base rate is 38,700. However, if you are on the old rules and you are doing one of these, either you are extending your visa with the same employer, or you are changing your job code with the same employer, or you are changing employers under the same job code or into another job code, doesn't matter, either changing job codes or changing employers, whatever is happening, or you are applying for indefinite leave to remain, then the base rate that applies to you is 29,000. At the time when you applied for the visa, you may have used 26,200 as the base rate. That no longer applies, so hence I've crossed this out. And the minimum hourly rate was 1075, that also does not apply. So the base rate that applies is 29,000, and the minimum hourly rate applies is 1190. At the time you have applied for the first time in the skilled worker visa under the old rules, you may have used 1075 per hour, but now it is 1190. Also, for the base rate, I have explained 29,000 is would be the minimum, and the going rate. So going rate is for the job code. Whatever is your job code, the lower threshold will apply. When you look at the job codes, there will be a standard rate and the lower rate will apply to you. You need to write down all three of them. For example, the lower threshold for your job is say 28,000, and 29,000 is this, and whatever the answer comes, you need to compare all of them, whichever is the highest, and the hourly rate is always calculated into 37.5 hours. So these salaries are based on 37.5 hours for a 52-hour week. Accordingly, the hourly rate has to be proportionated. For example, if you're working for 45 hours instead of 37.5, you need to do the numbers 11.9 into 35 hours per week into 52 weeks, and that should be the C in this case. You compare A, B and C, whichever is the highest, that should be the salary that should be paid. If you are doing one of these, extending, changing employers, ILR, filing for indefinite leave to remain, that is what happens. Also, if you are extending with the same employer, this is an important question. If you are with the same employer, you are either extending or you are applying for indefinite leave to remain, this salary, whichever is the higher of ABC, has to be paid at least for the last month. Because you will be currently working, you may be paid at the rate of 26,200 as the base. Your employer doesn't have to change now, but definitely before filing your indefinite leave to remain, at least the last pay slip, or if you are extending, then maybe from the point you will be extended. So when the work start date is put on the new certificate of sponsorship, if they are extending, the new salary has to be there, this as per these rules, higher of A, B or C. So remember that. And for indefinite leave to remain, obviously there will be no cost issued. The letter from your employer will have to confirm these new salaries. For your ILR, also you will need one pay slip minimum and one bank statement showing that payment entry into your bank account issued within 31 calendar days from the date of application. Both of them, pay slip and the bank statement. So this resolves anyone, almost I think 70-80% as of today will be in this area who are already on skilled worker area. They will be doing something, making another application for anything, extending, changing employer, ILR, etc. So that sorts out everything. The new rules don't apply to someone who is already on the skilled worker under the old rules. So that's the summary of it. It's quite easy and simplified, yeah. So this is the whole old rules and everything is here. I know there are many people who query on YouTube and several social media channels, and even in consultations I'm asked, any of this side applies to you? No. If you are already on the skilled worker, this is what applies to you. Very simple. And if you were on a shortage occupation, let's say, and you continue on that, then 23,200 was the minimum at that time, and I think that continues still. That's a small area. So I will get to the shortage occupation with the immigration salary list, but everyone else, majority of the individuals are not in the shortage occupation. So this is the answer, and the formula remains the same even for shortage occupation. Okay, so coming to, I will compare the standard rate. So the current standard is 38,700. Let's say you don't fall into any of the discount categories, then the current standard is 38,700. You should be paid 1588 per hour into the number of hours you are working. Same 1588 into, let's say you're working 48 hours, into 48 into 52. That is the hourly rate you need to calculate at C, 38,700, or the higher threshold. You will see on the job codes there is a higher threshold, not the lower one. So higher threshold should be used for anyone under the standard occupations which don't qualify for any of the discounting. Now I will come to the new entrant. New entrant discount is a common question. I've made many videos on this. Still I keep on getting questions even during consultations and all. I'll try to clarify as much as possible. So new entrant, PhD and STEM, those are small areas. Not everyone has PhD and STEM occupations that they are joining, but that's also an area I will touch on. They go on similar lines exactly as new entrant. New entrant is someone who is under the age of 26. I have other videos defining and giving more details about who qualifies for new entrant. Just briefly, under 26, switching from graduate route, and you can get up to 2 years of skilled worker new entrant visa, or switching from student visa, you can get up to 4 years of new entrant skilled worker visa. So that is a summary. That's how you qualify for it. So this, I'm taking the same A, B, C, base rate, going rate, hourly rate, base rate, A. Base rate, there is a 80% you have to pay of the base rate. 80% of, there's the standard which was 38,700. So 80% base rate 38,700. So this is the current standard. So 80% of this is 3960. That's A. B is 70% of your going rate, whatever is the going rate. Let's say your going rate is 30,000, 70% of going rate is 23,000. So 23, 3960, and whatever is the hourly rate. So hourly rate remains the same, which is, so hourly rate remains the same, 1588 per hour. So 1588 remains 3960, or 70% of whatever the going rate is for that particular job code, and 1588 per hour. So for example, if you're working 45 hours, 1588 into 45 into 52, that's how it will be. So you'll get the three numbers, whichever is the highest number, that is what should be paid. This is how new entrant salary is calculated on similar lines. PhD and STEM, exactly they are the same. There it is 80% of 38,700, that is the base rate discount. Here there is a 10% discount, here there is a 20% discount. So more or less STEM, PhD and new entrant are exactly the same, the way you calculate it, because 3960 is the minimum base for both of them, and here it is 70. Okay, so that is the differencing. On the base rate, I'm just comparing going rate. So whatever is the job code going rate, 70% is over here. For the PhD it is 90%, and for STEM PhD it is 80%. You need to write down all the three numbers, compare, whichever is the highest, that is what should be paid. Remember that. And if the correct salary is not paid, it will have impact on the sponsor license. Anytime an audit happens, home office will not be happy. Usually they would not even approve the costs if they do find out at the initial stage, but then these costs are undefined, so they may not come to know what are the exact salaries exactly. So it is the onus of the employer, the sponsor who is sponsoring, to check that these numbers are correct, and or else they risk losing the license or any type of compliance action against that. So if you don't understand, make sure you take immigration advice, speak to qualified immigration advisors, etc. You can book a paid consultation with us. We do calculate many individuals. I remember employees, they have consultations with us and they do discuss the minimum calculations for a specific individual they want to hire, and that's how we advise on. So you can book a paid consultation. We don't offer free advice or free consultations. Okay, coming back to, so new entrant is taken care of. I will come to immigration salary list. Immigration salary list, it replaces the shortage occupation list. So these are the occupations which are in shortage, which are, so those are the job codes which the UK requires. I've checked the immigration salary list, but usually, okay, so in the same way, there is a discount on the base rate. The base rate is 38,700, same 80% discount. 80% discount as same as new entrant. A will be 3960. B and C are no discounts. Remember that. I've seen the immigration salary list. More or less, when you look at the whole list, all the job codes, there are no jobs which have less than 3960 as the going rate. So finally you end up this as the minimum. This just to summarize. They may add some more job occupations subsequently, but as of today, to the best of my knowledge that I have seen, you end up paying at least 3960. So there is no discount on the hourly rate. Hourly rate would remain the same, 1588 per hour. No discount on the whatever the job code rate is. That is the going rate. So that is all about immigration salary list. Standard, anyways, everyone knows 38,700 minimum, higher job code rate, 1588 hourly. So that is one small area. This is the area where the lowest salaries can be paid. Okay, so there is table 3, which says eligible roles in healthcare and education roles. Healthcare roles, education roles, very simple. Table 3 says that. Table 4 gives the going rates of healthcare roles. Table 5 gives the going rates for education roles. There is a salary banding. For example, nurses have band 4, 5, 6, 7, and every band has different salaries. Doctors have bands, something like that. So the government decides the bands as per their experience or work they are doing, something on similar grounds, and this is how you calculate the salaries for them. A for them is 23,200. It is still 23,200 as of today. I know people may or may not believe. The standard skilled worker salary is 38,700. 38,700, but this is the lowest salary for the base rate that you have is on the healthcare and occupation job. These are jobs that are too much, that is the UK requires today. There is a lot of shortage in these areas, and we do need individuals in this. B is the going rate. The going rate is decided by the band provided by the government. So when you go and click and search for them, the table will show the banding and the salaries for different bands. And here hourly rate does not apply. This is the only area where hourly rate does not apply. So I don't know what they mean by that. Hourly rate doesn't apply. So I think they can work any number of hours, yeah, or whatever that is. Or anyways, NHS is overloaded. Teachers are overloaded with work. I understand that. So I don't know what is the reason the hourly rate is not a number for comparison. So the only comparison would be 23,200 or the going rate for the job, whichever is higher. So for example, any occupation, say, I'm just taking an example, I don't know the exact numbers here, teacher's salary is 28,000, then 23,200 or 28,000, whichever is higher, 28,000 will have to be paid, something like that. So this is a specific area for healthcare and education roles. It may be with the government departments or it may be with private providers also. The rules remain the same for them as well. So eligible healthcare and education jobs. Also, I'll just summarize the changes briefly at the top here. Okay, so on April 4th, the new SOC code, Standard Occupational Classification 2020 came into play. Previous classification was 2010. The job code numbers changed. So, for example, 6135 was the carer's job code. It changed to 6135. Numbers of job codes have changed. Number one. Secondly, the codes have been split. For example, 2134, which is a code on some IT related job, it has been split into, as per different job roles, into 2131, 1137, 2134. So a lot of changes have happened. So make sure, do not rely on the old job code. Do not rely on the old job code if you are if you're already on a skilled worker or something like that, you're trying to do something, another application. If you're an employer trying to continue sponsoring the migrant, just don't rely on the old job code to decide the new job code. Look at the job description, look at the code splits and accordingly decide. There is a cascade tool. If you go to the skilled worker rules and all, it will tell you, it will give you the job descriptions, etc. Different options are there. So that is how you decide. So numbers of the job codes have changed. The type of job that you were doing, it may have gone into a different number. And even as per the job description, let's say you were doing 10, in your job description there were 12 items, 12 types of things you would do in a day. 4 items would be for something IT support, the next 4 would be something else. So accordingly those have been split into sub jobs and they have sub job codes now. For example, this is some IT job code, I remember 2134. It has been split into 2131, 1137 and 2134 depending on what job description it is. So look at the new job codes and decide when you want to issue any certificate of sponsorship. Yeah, I think I have covered all the points here. Anything that I want to add? Yeah, so the basis of the numbers is in the under the old rules 26,200 was the base rate. It has gone up to 29,000 as per the inflation. So nothing, they have not tried to change it, but as per the inflation it has still remained at 25th percentile. The current 38,700, where is it, 38,700, it is as per the 50th percentile. So these salaries are based on 25th percentile even today. Only as per the inflation and all the numbers have been increased from 26,200 to 29,000, etc. And the hourly rate has gone from 1075 to 1190. All this is because of inflation and all. They have not actively tried to increase the numbers for the, so the rules have not been changed for someone who is already on a skilled worker visa. So even if you were a new entrant on the skilled worker visa, yeah, I will just try to get some permutations and combinations here. Let's say in the old rules you were a new entrant, now you will be applying for the normal skilled worker, experienced worker, still old rules will apply to you. In the old rules you were on a shortage occupation list, and now either it is removed from the list, let's say it's removed from the shortage occupation, still old rules will apply to you, this area will apply to you. Third possibility, if you were on the shortage occupation list, it has been moved to immigration salary list, still this will apply and the numbers from the ISL minimum salaries can be taken, but still this will apply to you. So summarily, anyone who is already on a skilled worker, doesn't matter they joined it as a new entrant, they joined it as a PhD occupation, STEM occupation, or on a shortage occupation, or on any of these healthcare or education jobs, this area of old rules still applies to them. This is how the calculations will be done. So this is all about it. I think I've covered everything. You can get into this any skilled worker salary to the best of my knowledge. Yeah, new entrant discount, new entrant PhD STEM discounting. This old rules, you already under the old rules, and you are doing something fully. You are joining the area under the new rules without any discounting. You are joining the new rules under the immigration salary list. You are joining the new rules under the healthcare or education job codes. So this is all. Yeah, anyone who is just for study purposes, if you want, maybe try and make a learning map or something and try to remember these if you are trying to remember for exams. Any employers, any applicants themselves, employers, applicants, if you watch this video, if it adds value to your knowledge, if it helps you with any decision making, anything, please do subscribe to our channel, like this video. If you like this video, then I will know that all this effort has paid out. The more likes I get, the more similar types of videos I will be making to explain the immigration rules. And this is I will keep this in the classroom series. It's more a teaching area as well as helping anyone who needs more knowledge. And thank you very much. Do become a paid member, do subscribe to our channel and support us as much as possible. Thank you very much.